Good morning. Good morning. I wasn't gonna be 8 minutes late, y'all. I wasn't gonna be 8 minutes late. I just saw her. Hey, Gariel. Gariel said mail is allowed an 8 minute grace period. I didn't need 8 minutes, but I did need this 30 minutes because I had to. Y'all had to get my mind together to get on stream because I'm still sad from last night. I'm sorry. I'm still sad. I'm still sad. I almost canceled. I almost was like, y'all know what? This is a day I'm calling out to work. I'm still bothered from last night. But good morning, everybody. We are here. YNW Melly day 3. And I talked to Miss J when I was in the airport. So there is so much. She sounded just like you guys. There's so much in this trial that we don't know that we're going to be finding out as time progresses. She told me stuff I hadn't even heard before. So I'm really excited. Thank you, Lexi, so much. Thank you for all the mods in the chat today. I appreciate it. Good morning, Alicia. How are you? Hey, Megan. Hey, Jasmine. Good morning, Summer. Hey, Carol. How are you this morning? Y'all, hold up. I don't know why there we go. Hey, Phoenix. Hey, Fatima. Good morning, T. Hey, Sugar. Hey, Tiffany. Good morning, Siobhan. Hey, Ronnie. How are you this morning? Hey, Danielle. Danielle got a clock. Damn. Y'all had a rough night, okay? I had a rough night last night. I need a little grace today. Just a little. Hey, Missy. Good morning. Y'all, I definitely changed this time. I was up on time, but I didn't think my attitude was there. I was still pissed from last night. Hey, LaPanda. Hey, Vitra. Hey, Ebony. Good morning. Hey, Alice. Good morning. Hey, Erica. I won't say how Mel thinks changing time of the stream means she's not late. Instead, I'll say thank you for being here. Mel, thank you for committing to stream. Girl, I had to do it this morning, y'all. I had to do it this morning. Okay. Hey, Chatty. Hey, Ken. How are you? Good morning. Hey, Mika. Let me Alice, let me just tell y'all. Let me explain my night yesterday. Hey, Shameen. Hey, Nicole. Okay, y'all. So y'all know I was supposed to go to Cowboy. I was supposed to go to Cowboy Carter last night. Now, every time I put those tickets in my cart, girl, like the seats that we wanted, paying over $1,000, it was not sitting right in my spirit. I was like, oh my God, I can't pay $1,000 for these tickets. So people kept saying, just wait closer to the show. The tickets are going to go down. I'm like, okay. So I'm checking them not every day, periodically. I'm checking the tickets and they were going down. $20, $30. They were going down. So I'm like, okay, if this keeps up by the day of the show, they're really going to go down. So my daughter's grandmother, she just bought tickets. She just went and saw her, I think, on Saturday. She said, tell your mom, wait until a few hours before the show, because that's when I got my ticket. My daughter went in Houston. That's what she did. And the tickets were in the like 300 range, but they were good seats. I said, bet. Unfortunately, yesterday, like y'all know I got stuck in the airport on Monday. I mean on Sunday. Sunday was gonna be our day that we ran around, bought clothes because Mariah needed to get some boots. So that was gonna be our day we did that. Well, unfortunately, I got stuck in the airport on Sunday. I didn't get home, y'all, until 7:45 yesterday morning. And when I got home, I was so sleepy because of course I'm not going to sleep I didn't go to sleep in the airport. And I was in the airport for like 15 hours. I didn't go to sleep in the airport. And I was asleep on the plane, but I kept waking up. So it's like cat naps on the plane, okay? It was like cat naps on the plane. So by the time I got home at 7:45, baby, I took a shower and I went to sleep. I'm thinking I'm gonna take a little 3-hour nap. I did not wake up until 1 o'clock. And that's because Mariah kept calling my phone and I finally heard it. So I woke up at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, y'all. It takes me 2 hours to get dressed. I wake up at 1 o'clock. We still needed to go to the mall because Mariah didn't have her full outfit. I didn't have accessories. I had my outfit because I was going to wear the denim on denim I had on for my birthday, but just put accessories on with it. Y'all, we did great timing in the mall. Baby, we hurry up, got out the house. We get to the mall. Baby, I'm talking about, boom, we found our little accessories in some store. Boom, we found belts. I'm talking about the belts we wanted to wear. We find belts. Mariah found this cute little top to go with her jeans. Oh my God. I'm like, okay. We leaving the mall. It's 2:45. Okay? It's 2:45. Okay? Well, Danielle, because I was flying standby. So I stayed at the airport just because I didn't know what flight was going to be available for me. And the flights, they told me it's the worst time to fly standby on Sundays and Mondays leaving out of Vegas. And so I wasn't leaving the airport because then I would have missed Monday. Still missed Monday. Should have stayed an extra day in Vegas. But anyway, so all of this is happening. We doing great on timing. Mariah's like, Mariah, I found my boots. Mariah didn't find hers. I went to some store in the mall, found some cute little cowboy boots because she said I couldn't wear my regular boots. Find my little cowboy boots, cowgirl boots. Go to the store. We have to go to another store. Went to 2 stores. Finally found Mariah her boots. My girl is cute. I'm talking about we good on timing. We doing all of this on time, and when we get ready to buy tickets, at this point, we're within an hour of the show starting. I got so desperate, y'all. Y'all remember I said it wasn't sitting right in my spirit to pay $1,000 for tickets. I got so desperate. I was about to pay $1,000 for tickets. Those tickets wouldn't even go through. We tried 5 to 6 different times. First of all, Ticketmaster was moving so slow. I don't know if it was downtown. I don't know what, if God was telling me, Melanie, you don't need to buy these tickets. I don't know what it was. But when I tell y'all, we were trying to buy tickets. Nothing. Mariah's on her phone. I'm on 2 phones. Nothing. Let me tell you something. As a parent, I'm not even talking about me. As a parent, I feel, do you know the walk of shame? Let me tell you something. When I was coming down 85, going up 316 to get home, it felt like the walk of shame. It felt like the walk of shame. Do you hear what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I was so, man, y'all, that walk of shame. When I tell y'all, when it finally hit, because we were trying so much, I think Ticketmaster cuts it off at like 8 o'clock for buying tickets. When they hit me, that my baby was not going to this concert. And it wasn't just me, though. You know, the good thing about it is Mariah had been researching too, and she was hearing the same things to wait to buy the tickets. She was hearing the same thing. So it was like a collective waiting. It wasn't just me. But my baby was so excited. So I think we're going to Vegas next week. Missy, I don't know why my Facebook is not popping, because I checked my Facebook. I was on X to kind of see if people had tickets. But somebody told me, they said, Mel, just buy tickets from the people outside selling them. I'm too scared to do that. But we may go to Vegas next week. Mariah has a trip planned next week. So I'm trying to work out the flights. I wanted to go, but I ain't mad because I've seen it online. But my baby wanted to be there. So we're trying to work out Vegas next week. Her last shows are in Vegas. And my cousin, he lives in LA. He said he'll come to Vegas and we come to Vegas. So it'll be like it'll be a fun trip if we get to go. But I have Jeezy that Saturday. So if I go to Vegas, when I say I'm going to be cutting it close, I am going to be cutting it close if I go to Vegas, because I have to be back in Atlanta on Saturday. So we're trying to see if we can swing Vegas. If we can swing Vegas, it's just, when I tell y'all, it's just so much into getting, because she's going to be in Florida. So I have to fly Mariah from Florida to Vegas. When she gets to Vegas, we can fly back together. When I tell y'all I'm pushing it, I'm going to have to prep. When I say prep, I mean I'm going to have to be on that flight doing my makeup, baby, do my hair in the bathroom, get off of my flight, go to my cousin's, which is the plan anyway, get dressed there, and then we go to GC. It's going to be cutting it close, but if we can swing it, I'm going to take her to Vegas. And I'm going to say that I will never in my life listen to TikTok again about tickets. The next, no standby, Ken. No, I can't do that. Standby is, I think, cute for a place like Memphis. You know? Memphis. When I was in that airport, I was going to go live, but I said, that's too much. Yeah, when I was in the airport, I understood standby, but I guess it didn't come across my mind you could get bumped so many times. And when I asked them about it, they were telling me it's a priority thing. So if someone works for the airline and it's them, they're going to bump me for the person that works for the airline. Boom. They're going to bump me for the person's child who works for the airline. Okay. Listen, honestly, that's why I could laugh at the standby thing this time around. I didn't have anything to do Sunday. Just get me home Monday. Just get me home by Monday. Okay. I'm in the airport, baby. I think I watched damn near a whole season of SVU. Okay. Just get me home by Monday, and that's fine. But Landis, don't piss me out. Y'all look what Landis said. My friend purchased a ticket for Sunday for $75. I keep hearing these stories, y'all, but when I tell you 75, the last tickets, the last tickets I put in my cart to purchase were $980. I mean, that's how desperate I was to get her in the show. I don't need to be doing all that, but I was that $75 is crazy. I wish. Ashley, no, because I'm on here. I'm not looking at my phones right now. I'm not looking at my phones right now, but oh my God, it was insane. It was insane. But Ken, we're going to see Chris Brown. I told Mariah we're just gonna buy the tickets. I'm not playing the whole wait to the last. No, ma'am, I will never do that again. It was not a great experience. The anxiety I was going through, simply just trying to buy tickets. And when I tell the amount of times, I'm not sure why Ticketmaster's website does this or any of those sites, because it wasn't just Ticketmaster. We tried StubHub. We tried a lot of places. Now, I had a limit on what I was going to spend. I was willing to spend up to $500 per ticket, but past that, I just couldn't do it. I just wasn't going to do that. But the amount of times we tried to buy tickets, and then it would say, oops, those tickets are gone. Oops, that's not going to happen. Oops, the amount of times we saw that. Oh my God. I mean, crushed. And then sometimes we were finding tickets, $368 per ticket in a cool area. When I tell you I'm sorry, you type everything in, you got your card in there, you hit and submit, nothing. And that happened. I said 5 to 6, but it may have happened more times than that. So I don't know why the sites didn't instantly remove the tickets once they were purchased. But it was a painful night, Jesus. It was a painful night. Yes, Destin. This is why. Oh, y'all saw her this weekend too. I saw her this weekend in Vegas. This is why you cannot do that. You know, you know how they say once the internet get a hold to something, it doesn't work anymore. I feel that. I feel that once the internet gets a hold to it, it just doesn't work anymore because maybe that's what everybody was doing. Like when I say we were on there and I saw with my own eyes. You know how they have the maps with the tickets? I was watching the maps. The tickets just disappear. I mean, it was a headache. I'll never do that again. But we have to determine today if we're going to Vegas. If we go to Vegas, I'm going to pay cheaper for the tickets. And the tickets are cheaper and it's a really, really great view. So if we're able to swing Vegas, then I think she'll have a better experience anyway. My cousin, I think I told you about him. He did drag race. He knows a lot of people, so he's able to get us like a VIP package, and the seating is beautiful. And I'm just if she wants to go, if it's too much, even if she has to go with just my cousin, I'm gonna make sure she's there. My cousin's cousin is a seat filler. How the hell do I become a seat filler? Lord, y'all, that just wasn't. It just I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Ashley, girl, I didn't see this text out. Listen, Erica, if I can get her to this Beyonce concert, I'll feel like such a great mother because she really wanted to go. It's gonna be her first Beyonce concert. I've seen Beyonce maybe 3 times before, but this was gonna be her first concert. So I was really like, I was really sad that she didn't get to go. But thank y'all for giving me that hour because I needed that time to like get my mind together. And today we're gonna figure it out. They said sea filler, do tell. But y'all know, Brianna said I was at the concert on TikTok. Brianna, somebody said, somebody told me, he said, what? You about to pay that for tickets? He said, you not finna talk to Beyonce. Why you doing all that? But I was gonna do it just so my baby could go. The fence. Ashley, I see it now. You seen it on Sunday. I see it now. I don't know how I missed the text, but I see it now. But yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see it till now. Good morning, Annette. Good morning. Oh, she said she'll ask. Summer, is this for concerts? Hey, Kira. I'm gonna have to watch. I'm going to see today when it comes to these flights. It's just y'all know how it's just too many moving parts. Mariah's going to Florida next week, so we won't be flying together. I will have to fly her from Florida to Vegas, and then we'd fly back together to Atlanta. That's the only thing that just and I just took that Vegas flight. I don't like long flights. That Vegas, y'all know I don't really like flying. So when I like try to go to sleep since I knew my flights were so early. I knew, I might be sleepy. I was waking up. Let me see, the flight was 4 hours and 30 minutes. I went to sleep. I woke up. It was 2 hours and 53 minutes left. I went to sleep again. It was 2 hours and 33 minutes left. It's like I just kept waking up. I can't be calm on flights. Like I'm on there praying. Child, I'm on there talking to God. I'm like, God, let the pilot still be awake up there. And if he sleep, please, God, let the co-pilot be awake. I don't. Thank you, Summer. Mm-mm. Oh, that's cute. That's cute, Erica. Summer, they said put that link in the chat. Oh, I don't think Summer can. Hold on, let me see. I'll put it in here. She said she sent it to me. Hold up. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Thank you, Summer. Good morning, Gibson girl. Good morning. Sorry, I had my rant for the morning. Okay. I'm finna put it in. It won't even let me put it in the chat. Let me send it to one of the mods. Hold up. Y'all about to send it to the mods. Somebody put it in the chat. It won't even let me put it in the chat. So hold on just a second. Oh, wrong one. Okay. Here, okay. Eric, can you put this in the chat for me? It wouldn't even let me put it in. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so we're about to go to day three of the YNW Melly case. And let me say, talk to Miss J, because Miss J has already watched this trial. She was just kind of talking to me about some of the things that may come up. Something that came up that is going to come up, she told me, is that Melly and Sack had some type of altercation either the day of or the day before the murders happened. She also said that, you know, from what she would do when the trial was going on was read the comments in the Law and Crime chat. So y'all may want to go back and do that too. And reading the comments, hey Paris, hey DJ Mommy, and reading the comments, she said they hey Zach, she said that people were telling them that Sack was really he was really on it. That Sack was somebody that people didn't really mess with. They didn't really mess with Melly a lot because of Sack. That it seemed like from the comments, Sack would try to, I don't know if this is the right term, but he would try to little boy Melly. He was taller than Melly. He was really the enforcer, and that people knew this. And she, you know, she was saying in the comments how people were saying that Jameson Francois, which was Melly's manager, and again, guys, this is all from comments from Law and Crime. That a lot of the time, the money, Melly was the one out of the three who was in the forefront. And they felt like it didn't matter that he was in the forefront. They were a group, even though he, you know, everybody had individual songs. And they should be paid the same amount as Melly. And that Jameson Francois, he came in and he would kind of be the middleman. Oh, he would divvy out the money. He would be the person who could explain why you're not getting this, why you're only going to get this. And that would kind of soften the blow. And that some people believe that these Juvy was just an innocent bystander per se, but the real threat to Melly's career was Sack. Now, again, this is from comments, and that he would have gotten that money from anyone. If Jamie, which is Melly's mom, if Jamie was collecting the money, Sack would have found a way. He would have pushed up on her to get the money. That he was a threat that they had to eliminate. This is what people believe in the comments, guys. Let me say that again. So this is and when I heard that, I said all I hear is motive. So Miss J was saying that some of the comments believe that Melly really might be innocent. That is why he was in. I believe he was in the bushes. I'm sorry, I do believe he was in the bushes. But Melly might be innocent. Hey, Nicety. He might be innocent, but he knows who did it. That maybe Sack was taken out to protect Melly's career because he living was a threat to this young man. Apparently, Sack beat him up. And, you know, at this point, if we're a group and they said he wasn't going to leave quietly. So this is it. Okay, let's see. The money part does not make sense since he was a millionaire and he could have moved on and flew with Portland to New York. Zach, this is what I don't get. Why are we acting like he didn't have enough money, like you said, to move away from this young man? Why are we acting like that? Okay, get out of Miami. But Zach, I'm not sure. I mean, they were young. They were young. I'm not sure if they were thinking like that or were they young people like the internet. Was it going to turn into this whole beef and he didn't want that? I don't know. I don't know. Danielle, you might be right. Because talking to Miss J, I mean, she was telling me a lot of stuff that I just personally hadn't heard before because I'm only on day 3. But she said she looked at the law and crime comments and it was a lot of people just saying that Sack was just not going to leave quietly. Who a lot of people feel that Melly didn't do it, but he knows who did. Whoever did it. Look at me about to say YSL quote, and they did it in furtherance of Melly. They did it in furtherance of Melly. I always wonder why people can't just pick up and leave. I don't know the circumstances. I don't know what was going on in their head, but I'm like, Zach, you had enough money to pick up and go. And Zach, I don't think he was a millionaire. I think people assume Melly was a millionaire. Melly was for sure getting money, but I don't think he was a millionaire at that time. Was he touching a lot of money at that point? Yes. Yes, he was. Yes, he was touching money, and I think they knew he was touching money. But this is why, man, it goes back to you've got to know who your circle is, who's around you, because there's no way if we're working as a group, then we get paid as a group together. But if I go out and I do a show, okay, I'm gonna break bread because apparently they were all living in Melly's home. He was a bully, allegedly, Ronnie. Yes. They were living in Melly's. Melly was paying for the house. He's paying for the cars. So if he's doing all of this, he's trying to take care of y'all. He was probably paying for the studio sessions. So apparently this is all going to come out during the trial. This is from some of the law and crime comments. So we're going to see. I was telling T, I said, day 2, it really had me invested. Like day 2 plus y'all comments kind of telling me what the ins and outs. I am ready to see this unfold and see if I can figure out why this happened. So we're going to start day 3. Girl, y'all hold the freak on. Yeah, they have changed StreamYard. And I'm looking at the bottom of my screen. Hold on, y'all. Let me see something. Okay. There we go. They've changed the way the buttons look on StreamYard. And so when I look down to press it looked different. And right to the right, it says need help. Yes. Because why didn't you tell me? Lexi said day 3 is boring, but day 4 is lit. Hold on. Oh, Vitra, chat at some point, girl. Lexi said day 3 is boring, but day 4 is lit. I'm ready for day 4. Y'all know we only have 18 days of this trial. So I'm gonna share my screen. We might get to day 4 today if y'all hang out. Hold on. Y'all, why did my screen get small like that? What the Stream, y'all don't need this. I can still see the chat, but my screen just got smaller all of a sudden. I don't need that. I don't need them making my screen small. Leave the studio. They Oh, I gotta edit this. Not Lexi. Alice, you know I didn't stream yesterday. Sorry, I didn't stream yesterday, so I had to delete the day 3 off of there. I'll go fix it. Alice said, I thought this was day 4. It must really be boring because everybody who's watched the trial that's on here is like, wait a minute. It's gonna be damn 3. Yeah, this is day 3, guys. I took the stream down yesterday because I wasn't streaming yesterday, so I'll go in and update this. So today is 10. Mariah has to work today, so I'll probably do day 3. And if I can do day 4 too, I'll do day 4.
The state is still on its case in chief, so Madam, you want to call your next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Nestor Hermedia.
Nestor Cordelia?
Yes.
Good morning, are you Nestor Cordelia?
Good morning.
Well, this is our witness stand, come on up here. When you get there, what I'd like you to do is just remain standing for a bit. Raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you should give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your full legal name for the record.
Nestor Hermedia,
Please spell your first and last name for the court reporter.
NESTORMERIDA.
Thank you, sir.
Please have a seat. So the microphone in front of you will adjust up or down, but not back and forth. All right?
Thanks, Your Honor.
Ready? Counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell the members of the jury where you were employed back on October 26th of 2018?
I was the manager of Sunset Lakes Homeowner Association.
Okay, and what is that? Is that a residential or commercial property?
It was a residential property of 1,685.
Okay, and where is that located?
Miramar Road.
Can you tell us the cross streets and the areas?
Basically, you go through 40th Street and this case 186 Sunrise Avenue and 40th.
Now, I'm going to turn your attention to the 40th Street entrance specifically. During your employment with the association or the development, were you aware of the video surveillance camera system?
Yes,
And as property manager, do you have access to those cameras?
yes,
And those cameras recorded the front entrance gate at the 40th Street location?
yes,
And those cameras were actually stored within that security guard gate?
yes.
How is that gate operated? Like, for instance, is there a live person? Is it automated?
A live person 24/7.
Okay, so, and a guard is essentially stationed at that gate.
Yes.
And how does one enter that development, specifically the 40th Street entrance?
Either by phone call to the residents or be on the list.
So essentially, you have to be authorized to enter.
Yes.
And are there any requirements for identification or anything of the sort?
Your driver license will be scanned.
And is that whether or
And
not,
the register tag will be also recorded.
okay? And so, for instance, if I want to visit that location and I'm entering the 40th Street, I need to have permission and an identification card.
Yes, yes, driver license. Driver license.
As far as the video surveillance system, is it common that it was overwritten or, re-recorded over after a certain period of time?
He does.
Do you recall the time frame? Your Honor, showing defense counsel was been marked the state's WW, permission to approach the witness.
Yes, you may.
Can you take a look at state's WW for identification purposes only? Do you recognize this?
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Okay.
Okay, y'all. So Lexi just said day 3 is all about the bullets, the firearms, and the glass. So this is what I'll do for you guys. I have to watch day 3, but we can do day 4 on the stream. Or well, we could take a poll and see what you guys want to do. I don't mind watching day 3 because I have to watch it anyway. But if I know a lot of you guys are at work and y'all use the stream to get through work. So if you like, we can go to day 4. I know Lexi has watched it, and I'm sure Lexi has notes. And if y'all don't follow my girl on X, Lexi's notes. First of all, Lexi, I don't know how you get so many damn notes. And I get that you're watching. Which you down for what, Alice? Tell me. I get you're watching. And you're not up here talking and doing all this. But Lexi, your notes are so freaking good. I'm talking so. Lexi has amazing notes for any trial that she watches. So yes. Oh, to skip to day 4. Okay. Brianna, because so first of all, let me help y'all out. Lexi, did you tweet day 3? Hold on. Let's see. Let me see if Lexi. Hey, Keisha. I know, Ronnie. I'm going to go back and watch it. Hold up. I'm trying to see if Lexi has stuff on. It's so much going on in Melly case, y'all. Okay, they said just go ahead and watch day 3. Y'all know I'm cool with day 3. I don't like to watch. I don't like to skip. So if I didn't watch it on stream, I still will go back and watch day 3 because personally, if I'm talking about a trial, I have to watch everything. Y'all know I don't like to skip. I might, it depends on the witness. I might skip to cross, but that's it. But okay, y'all said day 3. All right, we're gonna stay on day 3. But yes, Lexi has really great notes though, and I'm on her page now, and she just reminded me, y'all, it's so much going on with this Melly trial. Raven Liberty's still trying to get the warrant. She's still trying to get information from the warrant because y'all haven't arrested Raven. Wow, if Raven was really intimidating the witness, y'all don't think Raven would be arrested by now? Come on. Okay. Alice, did you go to SeaWorld? Did you go to SeaWorld, Alice? Because my niece's mom said not to go to SeaWorld when we go. Y'all know we go the week after next. In 2 weeks, we go to Disney. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know what we're doing because Kylie's parents are allowing her to wake up every day and just tell us what our day is going to consist of, which is crazy. She's 6. Okay. But they're saying SeaWorld isn't worth it. Okay, we're doing day 3. We're going to do day 3. Alice, I saw you getting ready to party. Did y'all like SeaWorld? They said it was a waste of time, that our aquarium here is better. I just want to go because the little kid in me wants to go. Mariah's like, ew, no. I just want to go, even if, my little cousin, she gets discounted tickets. I just want to go because the kid in me wants to go. That's it. The little 8-year-old who wished her mom would take her to that type of vacation wants to go. It's okay. They said SeaWorld is definitely okay. Let me ask you this, Gabrielle. Is it worth $50? Is it worth $50? That's the price that we could get the tickets for. Is it worth $50? Tell me that. I'm like, do you understand how I think a lot of kids, the lore of Disney is just not there? But for me, like, I always wanted to go to Disney. I've never been. Tasha, I saw that. Waka Flocka will be there, I think, the day before we get there. Keisha, my cousin, guys, she works for the aquarium here, so she can get us tickets for $50 too. I love y'all, man. I love y'all. It's worth $50. Okay, y'all. All right. Well, I'm gonna go because she can get tickets, I think, for about $50. So I'm gonna go. I just want to take a picture in front of the SeaWorld sign. I want to walk around, see what it's all about. That's it. Animal Kingdom. But we get free tickets. Okay, India. I'm gonna go. Y'all have spoken, and we're gonna stay on day 3, guys. And again, this is the manager of the subdivision that Melly lives at that we're watching right now.
Have you had an opportunity to review the flash drive?
Yes, I did.
And does it contain the video surveillance from the files at Sunset Lakes apartment, specifically the 40th Street guard gate?
Yes, it does.
And based on your experience and your time there.
I'm sorry.
What page?
Can we approach? Yes,
Oh, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
no problem.
I just wish they just mute the mics. I don't know why we
Video surveillance on the flashlight.
Yes.
Does that fairly and accurately depict the Sunset Lakes guard gate, specifically the area covering that 40th Street entrance? Your Honor, at this time, the state uses the evidence that was pre-marked, the state's WW is the state's next numbered exhibit.
Is there any objection?
No.
It be admitted.
And permission to publish?
Mrs. Marty, yes, ma'am, you may publish.
States WW, remark states 47.
Can you all see the screen? Why don't you have a seat up front here? How about that?
Yeah. Where?
Right on the front
Oh,
row.
yeah, that would be great.
You can't see who's always with. Okay, Mel, I need you for a second. Mel, I was thinking about this when I was talking to Miss J. I said, when Mel comes on the stream, I need to ask her, how far are you familiar with where the studio is? Because I want to know, for all of the guys who were saying I was asleep, I do know it was 2 a.m. and I know they've been in the studio. They were probably on drugs, smoking, whatever. How far is the studio, Mel, to where they were living? Is it a long distance? Because the sleep makes a lot of sense to me if they had to drive an hour. I get it. Like, I mean, the airport ride for me from my house to the airport is 45 minutes. If it's 3 a.m. and we got to drive 45 minutes, I get a passenger may go to sleep. I would get that. Do you know how far it is? And Angel, that's a red flag for me, Angel. Red flag for me. Why don't you know who was all in the car with you? Unless his defense is he was high. Red flag for me. It's too many red flags. It's too much reasonable doubt in this case already. And we're on day 2. Okay, Zach is saying it was close, if I remember. Because for me, I don't understand how people are saying, oh, I don't know, I was asleep. That sounds like an excuse, but could be true. Could be true. But my first thought is, why don't you guys know who was in the car with you? Why don't you know? Okay, so Mel's going to tell us that. Just so you guys know, this is the subdivision where Melly was living at. I'm going to tell you.
That's it.
This is in Fort Lauderdale.
Your Honor, nothing further for this witness.
Thank you. Is there any questions on it?
One question. May I do it from here, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell in that video how many people were in that vehicle?
Why? Y'all, before he got up, I was trying to pause the video to say, if I were Melly's attorney, my only question would be, do you know all of the individuals in that car? Because what did we say? I'm like, you can't tell who's all in their car. And they only asked for the driver's identification. They didn't ask for everyone in the car. Now, had they asked for everyone in their car's identification, then this would probably be a closed case. We know that man wasn't in the car. But the reasonable doubt is they only asked the driver. He could be in that back seat. He could be in the back seat right now, but we will never know because you can't tell from the video surveillance. And they didn't ask for anyone else's ID. Great question. That's all I would have asked too.
That we just played.
So the driver, I can't see this.
So you don't know if there were 4 or 5 people in that car,
I would
correct?
ask the same question.
Thank you very much.
That's all you
Any
need.
regret?
No, Your Honor.
This witness excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You may step down. You're excused.
And if she did redirect, what would she ask him that would combat what he just said? Nothing. Nothing. Okay. Thank you, Mel. I appreciate it. Mel says that time of night, hey Keisha, and there go Keisha. Keisha, I forgot you in here too. That time of night, 30 to 45 minutes, the sleeping makes sense to me now. Thank you guys. 30 to 45 minutes, I could see that. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been in the studio all day, and 9 times out of 10, most of the other guys in the car, they playing around with rap, right? Meaning they weren't in the booth like that. It was probably Sac, Juvy, Melly for the most part in the booth. So hell, they ain't got nothing but time. To be time. And Danielle, I agree with this too. This is why I said I can believe it if these young guys were under the influence, had been in the studio all day doing drugs. I could believe it. I wanted to know the distance. I did want to know the distance though. I did. Danielle said, but to be fair, with everyday experiences, I have been in the car with a group of friends drunk, being dropped off, wake up to my friends saying, girl, you at home. Okay? Everybody else is gone, and all I knew, we were getting food. I agree, Danielle. I agree. This is why I love watching trial with you guys. We are everyday people, just like these jurors. So we have to decide. We have to like shift through this information, and you using the evidence, and you have to use some logic too.
Call your next witness.
George Bella.
Mr. Bello, please.
And periodically, guys, if I go off camera, y'all, if I may have to go off camera because I'm trying to get into the habit of updating my TikTok as we're watching, because I get behind if I don't. So just bear with me if I'm off camera. That's probably what I'm doing. But I just want to let y'all know I'm not. Y'all know I don't like being off camera, but I've got to make some. I got to make some executive decisions because I still have day 2 notes that I need to post right now. I don't want to get that far behind.
Bello, welcome. Please remain standing for a bit. Raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your full legal name for the record.
My name is George Bello.
Please spell your first and last name for the code of order.
It's Jorgebello.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
Thank you.
No, that microphone will adjust up and down, but not back and forth.
Okay, no problem.
And I've started to understand in this trial, when they come with those notes, they mean business.
What's your permission, Your Honor?
You're ready, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Bello. How are you today?
Good morning. Doing well. How about yourself?
Very well, thank you for asking. Could you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury where you work?
I'm the crime lab unit manager in the fireman tool mark unit for Broward Sheriff's Office Crime Lab.
What does that mean?
Basically, it means that I examine known and unknown tool marks to determine whether or not they came from a common source. Along with, of course, as I'm a manager, I manage and maintain the standard operating procedures as well as training for any new members of the lab.
How long have you been the manager of the Broward Sheriff's Office Firearms and Tool Mark section?
I've been the manager there for about 6.5 years.
Prior to being the manager for in the Broward Sheriff's Office Crime Lab, where else have you worked?
I was a criminalist in the fireman tool mark unit for Miami-Dade Police Department Crime Lab.
And how long were you a criminalist there?
Approximately 7 years.
How long in total have you been working with firearms in this discipline?
So into this one, I've been for a total about 13.5 years.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what type of background and education you have?
I have a Bachelor of Science in Marine Biology, which I received from Florida International University.
And when did you graduate from Florida International University?
Good question. I think it was probably about 2009, 2010, somewhere around there.
July of 2009, sound correct?
Yeah.
Would that be reflected on your CV?
Yes.
If you need to refer to that at any point, please let me know.
Okay, will do.
Have you memorized every single training you've ever taken, date and time?
No.
Okay.
No, certainly not.
So if you could tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, after you graduated in 2009 with your Bachelor of Science in Marine Biology, what was the next steps you took in training and education specific to your current employment?
So training in the fireman tool mark discipline primarily occurs at labs. It's usually on-the-job training. The main reason for that is universities are gun-free zones, and so it'd be a very difficult task to try to get an education in firearms on a university campus. So the training program at Miami-Dade is a 2-year training program. It's the same in our sheriff's office. It revolves around a training manual, and that manual is comprised of several different modules that we have to complete. Some of the modules in that training manual include history of firearms design, modern firearm design, history of ammunition development, orientation, instrumentation, ethics, firearms comparisons, tool mark comparisons, distance determinations, serial number restoration, and many other modules. Learning throughout that program is measured by giving technical presentations as well as writing technical papers. I also will take written examinations, oral exams, culminating eventually in a competency test to determine whether or not I can physically do the work, and then a mock trial as well as testimony training. In addition to that in-house training, I also receive training outside the laboratory in order to fulfill my job duties. Some of the different trainings I received included training in factory tours and armorers courses. And factory tours are really important for firearms examiners because they allow us to see how the integral parts of the firearm are made. So those are the parts that leave individual and identifiable marks on casings and projectiles. So some of those parts that we can observe being made are the barrel, firing pins, extractors, ejectors, magazines, magazine lips. So we can see how all of those parts are manufactured at different manufacturers and see how the individual marks are imparted onto the tools themselves. And then the armorers courses work hand in hand with that in that they show us how all of those parts work together inside of an actual firearm. So during the armorers course, we'll strip down the firearm down to its screws and base components, and then reassemble it, and do that several times. In that process, we can see how those parts work together to leave the marks on casings and projectiles. So the factory tours show us how the marks go from the manufacturer onto the guns, and then the armor's courses can show us how the guns leave the marks on the casings and projectiles.
Okay, that's a lot of information, so let's slow down and come back a little bit. Okay, so you talked about touring various gun manufacturers.
Yes.
Approximately how many times have you done that in the course of your employment as a firearms tool master trainer?
I believe I've toured somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to somewhere between 12 and 15 manufacturers.
Is this a visitor's tour or is this a hands-on technical evaluation?
No, it's a technical tour. Firearms manufacturers are very particular, so they don't let just anybody, if you're not involved with law enforcement, specifically really firearms examiners, they don't let you through the door to take a tour. And so typically the ones that are giving the tour are like chief of engineering or something like that, where they know how each of those components are being made and where they're being made. And then because these factories are fairly large, and so when you're touring them, I don't necessarily need to see assembly. I don't necessarily need to see when they're manufacturing a slide. Those parts that don't make marks on cases and projectiles are really not important for us. And so they know, because we're in communication with them, the parts that we need to see manufactured and the information that we ask them, they have to be able to know what the answers are as well. So just somebody who's hired to operate a machine may not know some of the details that I'm going to ask. So it is a very specific tour.
So on the armorer's course, are those specific to each individual brand or make and model of firearm?
Yes, they're specific to really the make and model of the firearm. So the armorer's courses, like let's say like a Glock armorer's course, will teach you how to disassemble, reassemble Glock pistols. They also teach you how to fix Glock pistols. So that's kind of an added component for us. If we receive a firearm that is broken, we know how to put it back together because we've been to the armorer's courses. But they are specific. So if you take a Smith & Wesson armorer's course, Smith & Wesson makes a lot of different firearms. They don't just make pistols, they make revolvers, they make rifles, and so they have revolver armorer's courses, they have pistol armorer's courses, they have rifle armorer's courses. And so in order to be an armorer in each of those, you would have to take an armorer's course for each of those categories.
In terms of the number of armorer's courses that you've taken, can you please give an approximate number to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
It's probably in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 armorer's courses.
Your daily, day-to-day job,
Mhm.
how many times do you handle a firearm?
Every day. Pretty much every day that I come into the office, I handle a firearm of some sort or another.
And is it one a day?
It can vary. So sometimes if a case has enough fired evidence, I may shoot one firearm for that particular case and then make comparisons. But if it's a day where I'm coming in and just test firing firearms, I might test fire anywhere between 75 and 100 in that particular day. So it kind of varies by the task that I'm performing any given day. So it'll be anywhere from 1 to, I'll say 100.
In a single day for firearms?
Yes.
And is that for the entirety of the 13 and a half years you've worked in firearms?
Yes, minus the 2 years of training. So approximately 11 and a half years of handling a firearm every day.
In terms of the services that you can provide and do at the lab, is there what's called a distance or range of fire determination?
Yes,
Is that something that you have had training and experience in?
yes.
Could you please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury your training that you have in range of fire or distance determination?
So the distance determination training is primarily in-house because it's comprised of several different parts of firearms examiner training. So in order to perform these determinations, typically we're going to need a firearm and some kind of fired evidence tying evidence to the firearm or tying the firearm to the scene. The reason for that is that distance determination, when chemically processed, is a destructive examination that can only be done one time. So if I process, let's say a sweater or a shirt for distance determination, I can only do that one time. And so we want to make sure that when we're doing it with the firearm that was found at the scene. Because if not, then we're applying so many variables that we can't account for when giving a distance. And so the training is really based off of the FBI gunpowder, gunshot residue training course. And it's essentially a compilation of articles that we go through and read them. We practice making the chemicals that are required for making the test paper, the chemicals that are required for making all of the spray solutions that we would use to chemically process the garments, as well as training in using infrared microscopy and different light microscopy to try to see gunpowder on different pattern of clothing. Once we've completed that training, it culminates, of course, in doing 10 practice exercises, and then eventually a competency test to make sure that we can arrive at a known answer that an instructor gave.
Okay, so Mr. Melly, to go back, you said that you can do chemical testing. You mentioned like a sweater,
Yes,
and you said it's destructive. What
yes.
does that mean?
So the reaction that we're looking for when we do distance determination is a chromophoric reaction, so it's a color reaction. Burnt gunpowder reacts, or the nitrites in burnt gunpowder react with the chemicals that we're using to give an orange reaction. That reaction will only happen that one time. So if I processed it again, it wouldn't react again because those chemicals are no longer present.
So, Mr. Melly, can you do that on a human body?
No, you cannot chemically process a human body.
And how long has the biochemist office lab been doing this process of the chemical determination of distance determination?
I believe it's been done since its induction. So I believe somewhere in the late 60s is when they started doing it.
And specifically at the Broward Sheriff's Office, when did you guys onboard this procedure?
So we've been doing it, at least since I've been there, we've been able to do it. It did have a brief hiatus. When I was hired, the lab, the firearm and tool mark unit was shut down because all of its previous examiners had retired or left. And so we had to shut down for about a year. And then when we started doing examinations again, we started offering the full range of examinations.
And when you say you had to shut down for a year, why is that?
We didn't have anybody to actually do the work. So we could have received the evidence, but it would have sat around for that entire time frame because nobody could do the work.
You were there, why couldn't you do the work?
Well, I was hired after. Yeah, so I was hired after the examiners had left. And anytime you hire somebody, even if they're trained from the laboratory, they have to be onboarded. So that onboarding process does include doing casework. So any casework that I was authorized to do before in Miami-Dade, I had to redo. So the quality assurance manager and the lab director gave me tests when I was onboarded, and I had to pass the test. So I had to come to the known conclusions that another examiner already knew the answer was in order to be able to do the same examination at Broward Sheriff's Office.
Okay, so you were certified to do the examinations in Dade County.
Authorized. So I was authorized by Miami-Dade to do that at Miami-Dade County, yes.
And that authorization, how long does it last for?
Typically it's for my employment unless there's some kind of lapse. So if part of the authorization or part of the requirement for authorization is competency testing. And so if there's a lapse, proficiency testing. If there's a lapse in my proficiency testing and I don't complete casework in that particular field, then I wouldn't be authorized by the laboratory to do that work anymore.
Is there a difference between authorization and being certified in the field of firearms tool marks examiners?
Yes, so by definition, laboratories can authorize you to do work. They don't certify you.
Let me just say that after Shannon Burgess, I will never mind a prosecutor or a defense attorney trying to make sure the jury overly understands how qualified their witness is. I know this is a lot, but she is just trying to lay the foundation like this man knows what he's talking about. Now, I don't know what Mr. Man is going to testify to. I don't know what Mr. Bello is about to tell us, but I will never, ever, ever, I won't be mad at anyone trying to qualify their witness. Hey, Valonia, how are you? Good morning.
Do work. A certification implies that there's a third party, right? Another body outside of your employer that's giving you some kind of standardized test. And so there is certification in distance determination, in firearms comparison analysis, and tool marks that's offered by the Association of Firearm and Tool Mark Examiners. So that would be the certification. It's a test that was made by experts to be challenging. And so when you pass that, you've passed a standard test that everyone who's certified in that field passed. Authorizations are subjective in that they're designed and implemented by individual laboratories. So that's saying, an authorization is saying you can do that test in that laboratory. So if you have an authorization, like I have an authorization for Broward Sheriff's Office, it doesn't mean that I can go to Chicago and do what I do in Chicago. If I'm certified, that means that I've met at least the base knowledge and practical knowledge to be able to do the examination as tested by an outside agency.
So, Mr. Bello, if you go and complete an armorer's course at 6 Hour, at Taurus, at Glock, are they certifying you that you are an expert in their firearms?
They're saying you're an armorer in their firearms. So once you've completed an armorer's course, let's say for Glock, then they give you a certificate saying that you're a Glock armorer. That certificate is typically valid for anywhere between 3 and 5 years, depending on the manufacturer. But once that time lapses, then Glock will no longer consider you an armorer for their firearm. And at that point, you'd have to go back and take another armorer's course for Glock to then be updated with all of the information, get a new certificate, and then you would be a Glock armorer again.
Okay. And so, Mr. Bello, you talked about the Association of Firearms and Tool Marks Examiners.
Mhm.
Are you certified by that organization?
I am.
How long have you been certified by them?
I believe I was first certified in 2015, so like 7 years, more or less, 7 or 8 years.
Has that been continual since 2015?
Yes,
Do you have to take continuing education to maintain that certification?
yes. So the original certification is a test. So you take a written examination as well as a practical examination, and you have to pass. I believe the written examination you have to pass with an 80% score, and then the practical exam is essentially 100% because you can't give a wrong answer, and so you have to have 100% on the practical. And then to maintain that certification, you have to attend training or give training, so a combination thereof. And that is to a minimum of 100 hours every 5 years.
And Mr. Bello, do you teach in the area of firearms and tool marks?
I do. I give workshops, and I also obviously train any examiners that are new examiners in the field of firearm tool mark examiners.
Have you testified as an expert in court before?
Yes.
How many times?
Approximately, probably in the neighborhood of in the low 70s right now.
What jurisdictions have you testified in?
So I've testified in federal and state courts for Miami-Dade and the Broward counties.
And what specific areas of expertise have you opined on?
So I've been allowed to opine on firearms, firearm examination and comparison, tool mark examination and comparison, serial number restoration, and muzzle target distance determination.
And I'd offer defense an opportunity for other expert qualifications. So, Mr. Bello, let's start and talk about what is the difference between ballistics and firearms.
So yeah, it's a commonly, I guess, misused phrase. I don't really.
I'm sorry, y'all, but I love when the experts are understanding. You can tell they are knowledgeable, or they at least like what they do. Sometimes you can see that they love what they do. And I get the sense that Mr. Man, he loves what he does. I get the sense look at how he was like, listen, sometimes that's kind of mixed up. Let me explain. He is excited to teach.
Really work with what people would refer to as ballistics. So ballistics, as commonly used, is really speaking about external ballistics, and that's what happens to a projectile in flight. So from the time it leaves the barrel to the time it impacts the target. The area of ballistics that I do work in is internal ballistics and terminal ballistics. So in that area, that would be more synonymous with firearm examination, in that internal ballistics is what happens to a projectile and casing inside of a firearm, and then the terminal ballistics is what happens to that projectile after impacting an object.
So, terminal, like airport terminal?
Terminal's final, so the final destination, final endpoint of the projectile.
With regards to the internal ballistics, explain what causes there to be in what is internal ballistics.
Sure, so like the mechanics of discharging?
Please.
So the mechanics of discharging a firearm essentially is there's a firing sequence that occurs. Typically that firing sequence involves loading a firearm, usually with a magazine and semi-automatic firearms. The firearm can then be, the slide of the firearm would then be manually dropped. At that point, a live cartridge is going to be picked up from the magazine and inserted into the chamber of the firearm. Once the firearm is in that state, it's ready to fire. I mean, barring any manual safeties or something that's preventing it from firing, the firearm is loaded and ready to be fired. So with most modern firearms, at that point, you could pull the trigger. The trigger will release the hammer or the striker, which will detonate the firing pin. Detonate the primer. The primer of a cartridge is what holds a small explosive that ignites the powder inside the cartridge. That powder then expands through combustion and pushes a projectile through the barrel, and then at the same time, it will push the cartridge case rearward into the firearm itself. That rearward force is what causes the firearm to cycle. So at that point, the casing will be extracted and ejected, typically to the right and rear of where someone will be standing who's discharging the firearm. And then the cycle at that point starts all over again. So the slide comes forward, picking up another live cartridge, and you can then pull the fire of the hanger.
Okay, lots of definitions, big words that are not necessarily common in everyday life, so let's go back a little bit. A live cartridge, what is that?
I have a demonstrative I can show the jury.
Depends how you want to see it.
No,
Okay, so if you could explain what is a live cartridge?
May I approach the jury to show them?
Please stand up.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a demonstrative exhibit, it's not in evidence.
It's not a live cartridge or anything, it's plastic. A live cartridge is essentially what you see here. So it's a projectile or a bullet, a cartridge case, the primer, and then inside is where the powder itself is housed. So if you can see at the bottom of the cartridge case, there's a hole. That's called the flash hole. So when the primer is struck by the firing pin, the force is what causes that powder to ignite. So the explosion that's inside of the primer is going to come through that flash hole and into the main body of the cartridge case, igniting the powder. When that powder is lit, the projectile leaves the cartridge, entering the barrel of the firearm, and then the cartridge travels rearward and exits the firearm in a semi-automatic firearm. The marks that you see on now a fired projectile are the marks that can be imparted by rifling. So by the rifling in a barrel, those are the raised areas of the barrel that impart spin on a projectile. That's their whole purpose, is to actually impart spin on the projectile. The spin stabilizes the projectile in flight, so it makes it more accurate for the shooters. There's different types of rifling, but they all leave some kind of mark or another on projectiles. The cartridge cases will receive several different marks. So the mark that's in the center is the firing pin impression. The marks that are around it, in this case, looks almost like a rectangle. That's the firing pin aperture impression. And then the parallel striations that you can see, that's from the breech face. There are also this little triangular mark. That's the ejector mark. And then it can receive an extractor mark, which is this kind of striated scratch that you see there. And that's from, all of those parts are from the firing of this cartridge.
Okay, well, again, a lot of terms and things that people don't deal with on a regular basis. Let's start with, and help make sure it's clear and defined,
Sure.
what
Yes,
the purpose of a firearm are.
Angelica, yes, you can tell. He said he teaches classes too, and you can tell that he is used to being up in front of people who aren't knowledgeable or something, and taking the information and knowledge that he has and putting it in a way where they can understand it. You can I like him. I like what he's doing right now. So we'll see what he gets into. But right now he's explaining to us how a weapon works, what he studies when he's looking at a weapon. He said the internal He looks at the internal aspect and what happens after it hits the target. I mean, I think he's going to be a great witness.
Okay.
Are there different classes of firearms?
Yeah.
There are several different classes of firearms. So for handguns, the most common classes of firearms are revolvers and pistols, semi-automatic pistols.
And can you tell the jury the difference between what is a revolver and a semi-automatic?
So the main difference between a revolver and a semi-automatic firearm is that a revolver will have a set of chambers, and that's where these live cartridges are loaded. And then upon firing, the firearm will cycle itself, rotating that cylinder, but the cartridges do not eject. Right? The cartridges in a revolver have to be manually ejected, so they won't typically leave fire casings at a crime scene. Whereas semi-automatic firearms will automatically extract and eject fire casing every time that you pull the trigger.
So you're going to approach.
Right.
I have a demonstrative fake firearm. You can be so kind as to double check and
Sure.
make sure I'm not.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, just remember with the demonstratives, they're not noted. They're to assist the witness in explaining or illustrating his testimony.
I don't know if you guys heard him just say that semi-automatic weapons will always eject casings anytime you pull the trigger.
Help him explain it, but the evidence is the testimony of the witness. These demonstratives, unless they are later received in evidence, do not go back to the jury room during deliberations.
Is the item that you have in front of you a replica or plastic firearm?
Yes.
Does it shoot any projectiles?
No, it doesn't have a barrel or any. You can see that the barrel itself is plugged, so there's nothing that could possibly come out of this firearm.
Does it have a trigger that can be pulled?
No, it does not.
Does it have a slide or magazine that can be moved?
It has a magazine that can be extracted, but the slide cannot be moved. The hammer cannot be cocked. So there's no, in this particular design, the only moving part is the magazine release, which ejects the plastic magazine.
Okay, so can you now use that, and if I can have the witness step down so we can put it on the screen to make it easier for the jurors to see. Mr. Bella, if you would be so kind. And so we have the green screen there to the right. If you could now slowly, in terms of describing the areas on a typical semi-automatic firearm.
Sure. So in this particular design of semi-automatic firearm, the area that you pull to fire is the trigger. That's this plastic area right here. This particular firearm has a manual safety. That's this device here. It's ambidextrous, so it should have its equal partner here. So what that means is that whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you can shoot it either way and activate the safety or deactivate the safety. On this side of the firearm, you can see that there's a slide catch. That's what this part of the firearm is.
What does the slide catch do?
It catches the slide. In firearms, you'll notice that our terminology is very self-explanatory. We like to keep it simple. And so this part here is the slide.
Okay.
That's the part that will travel rearward and extract a casing from this area here. That is the chamber. And on its rearward travel, it'll pick up a casing from that chamber, extracting and ejecting it. When it's empty, there's a spring inside the magazine that pushes the slide up automatically, and it'll catch the slide. That just lets the person who's shooting know the firearm is empty. You can insert another magazine and start to shoot again. And then this portion here is the barrel. In this case, it's an exposed barrel. Not every firearm has an exposed barrel, so sometimes the slide covers this area as well. And then this is the muzzle end of the barrel. So this is the portion of the barrel where the projectile itself travels out of. And I guess just to clarify also, the projectile is not the only thing that comes out of the barrel of a firearm. There are byproducts of discharge. And so,
We'll get back to that.
Yep.
So can you demonstrate and show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about how you would insert a standard magazine using that demonstrative?
Sure. So in this particular firearm, you would just insert the magazine with the feed ramp of the magazine facing that direction. You just insert it into the well until it clicks in place. And at that point, slide up a little more. The magazine will sit flush with the bottom of the firearm, and the magazine is inserted. In regular function, at this point, typically the slide is to the rear of the firearm, and you would pull it back, and that would automatically release it to move forward and pick up a live cartridge and be in battery, which essentially just means that it's loaded and ready to fire.
Okay, so you discussed rifling.
Yes.
Where on this gun does the rifling come from?
So the rifling is from the barrel, so it's from this portion here. The chamber of this firearm ends right around here, and so from that portion forward is where the rifling will be present on the barrel of the firearm.
And explain what is rifling.
So rifling are raised portions of the inside of the barrel, which are designed to impart spin to the projectile, stabilizing the projectile in flight, and making the firearm itself more accurate.
Are those markings, the high and low points, standard in different firearms?
Yes, so there are characteristics that manufacturers will place on firearms. One of them is the width and number and direction of twist. So the width of line impressions, so how wide each of those marks is inside the barrel, is standardized, as well as the number. So whether it's 6 or 5, 3 or whatever that number might be, and the direction they twist the projectile in. So whether they twist right or left are all purposely put in by the manufacturer.
Do different manufacturers have trademarked or patented rifling patterns?
They do. So like Glock has Glock and Smith & Wesson are famously involved for, I guess Smith & Wesson tried to make a replica of what Glock has years ago, and Glock sued them, and they won the lawsuit. So Smith & Wesson had to immediately stop manufacturing the firearm the way they were manufacturing it. And it really came down to some of those class characteristics that we were talking about. So the marks that were inside the firearm, not really how it looks. So the firearm still looks the same as a Glock, but the inside markings are different than Glock, and they had to make them different because of the lawsuit.
So with regard, you said class characteristics, that's the type of firearm. How would you say that's different from individual characteristics of a specific firearm?
So class characteristics are those characteristics that are put in place by the firearm manufacturer on purpose. They know they're putting them in there. They chose to put them in there. So that's the caliber, the shape of the firing pin, the shape of the firing pin aperture, the number of lanes and grooves in a barrel, the direction of the twist. Those are all on purpose. They decided those numbers, and that's what they are making them all with. So every Taurus pistol, which is basically a replica of the Taurus PT92. So every Taurus pistol will have 6 land impressions. They all twist to the right. They all have a hemispherical firing pin. They all have a circular firing pin aperture. Now, the individual marks are the marks that the tooling puts in incidental to manufacture. So basically, they're accidental marks. Manufacturer doesn't know they're being imparted. They don't mean for them to be imparted. They just happen by the mechanical action of making the parts. So the cutting tools or the forming tools that are used to make the barrel, to make the slide, to make the aperture, all leave marks, which are microscopic in nature on these different parts.
And so before I have you resume your seat, could you show where would the ejector marks be made on this particular?
So I can't open the firearm, and that's where the ejector would be. But if looking at it from this angle, the extractor is on this side of the firearm. It's a hook that's put in place right here in the slide. And then the ejector is on